Heyo, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I'm your friendly neighborhood gendarme, Drusilla Adeline.
What's up?
A lot of good stuff. I'm like finally less busy. I'm relaxing. I'm hanging out. I'm watching a lot of movies. I've had a lot of new posters and artwork dropping left and right lately. There's a new cover for Bound by the Wachowski sisters in the Criterion Collection that I got to do. Thank you. The first trans directed film in the Criterion Collection, which
Is that right?
in after like something like 1,200 releases.
Yeah.
Going back to like the 80s on Laserdisc, their first ever movie by a trans individual.
Well, I suppose
Let's go.
I suppose there's not a lot of trans filmmakers in the canon just yet.
There's a lot of contemporary trans filmmakers who are incredible, but there's not too many kind of classic trans filmmakers. And a lot of the problem too is that, let's say someone was trans in the 50s and 60s that was making films. To be able to be someone who was making films in the 50s and 60s, you would have had to be entirely closeted about that aspect of your life. And then, yeah, exactly. So it's a whole other thing. So it's a really, really big moment, and Bound is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think
it's
the package
so good.
turned out very, very well.
It looks great.
Thank you. I got to do a lot of original photography and painting for it. There's photos taken by a very good friend of mine for it that are in the release. There's also photos of me and my girlfriend Ivory's hands in the release as well. It's very exciting. Yeah, that's what I've been up to. What about you? You are in a new place. You've got a new background on my Zoom little link.
It is not decorated yet, but this is my second bedroom / office. We moved, and it's been really difficult. It is a beautiful apartment, but nothing worked. And now we know why it was. It's 100 years old. It's from the 20s. Yeah. Like everything in this neighborhood. Miracle Miles, really interesting neighborhood architecturally because it was built kind of overnight in the 1920s. So there's a lot of beautiful Art Deco architecture here.
It's a really great place to lay low if there's like an impending nuclear disaster.
Yes. But we are paying $600 or so less than we expected to pay for a 2-bedroom in Los Angeles. And it turns out the reason why is that nothing works. So there's been an army of like electricians and plumbers and handymen through here. But I think the dust has settled and we're starting to enjoy it. I'm starting to decorate. I'm starting to buy furniture. And soon I'll have a housewarming party. So everything is good now, but it's been a trial this month.
Yeah. I'm glad that it's finally started to settle down. You have running water. You have heat, you have air conditioning. Yeah. It seems like you're through the worst of it. I still have a army of handymen coming in and out of my place to try and figure out the leaks that I've been having from all the rains and stuff. That still hasn't ended. But,
Do you want to hear something shady?
We'll see. Please.
My old apartment was beautiful, but a nightmare. It was also a 100-year-old apartment in Echo Park that I loved very dearly for all the many years that I lived there. And I had my friend. So this building has termites, first of all, has not had heat in years. All sorts of problems like that. Oh, there's giant leaks in the ceiling. And when I told the landlords, they're like, well, we'll just have to watch the weather. And I was like, what do you mean? It's going to rain again at some point. Like
literally tomorrow.
Yeah. So anyways, it just became a nightmare where the landlords basically were MIA. So anyway, I had my friends call to pretend that they were interested in the apartment. And the landlords quoted them $800 more a month than what I was paying.
Oh my God.
$800 more. That's insane.
Oh my God.
It's so shady.
But also it's like good shady on you for like
getting
that strategy out of there to figure that out.
Also, they're not going to tell these people that there are termites, whoever's moving in, right?
No.
So it's like, and when I told them there are termites in all 4 units were like, hey, we have termites. And the landlord said, well, all old buildings have termites. It's like, that's not
No.
true. Because if that were true, there would be no old buildings. Do you know what I mean? And also, you own this building. It belongs to you.
You should want it to still be standing.
It's crazy. Ugh, landlords are just like the shittiest people on earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been dealing with like leak and flooding at my place for months now. That's existed for a while, but it's gotten really exacerbated as we have more rains in LA this time of year.
Yeah.
They redid our floors already, and my landlord has just been very like, to give you an example of the way she's been treating the situation, when they were redoing our floors, she was like, maybe we just put tile in. Maybe we just put tile down everywhere. That way, if the water comes in, you can just sweep it out. And I was like,
What?
No. And so recently, during all of this, another apartment in my building has had significantly worse than us. All of their stuff has been in a U-Haul in front of the building for the past 2 months because they can't even use their first floor. I really hope they haven't been paying rent.
Yeah.
And so she finally like still owns the building, but she got a management company to just take over like all the like dealing with it. And ever since then, they've been in and out of my apartment like almost every day, doing everything they can to figure out where this leak is coming from. And I'm like, They've like fired her old handyman who'd been working on the building for like 20, 30 years, who was like, who famously, when he had to like replace a like medicine cabinet in one of my bathrooms, was like, I don't need to measure it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should measure it though. And he was like, nah, I don't need to measure it. Came back with the wrong sized one, couldn't fit it in, and so decided rather than go back to Home Depot and get a smaller one, to just carve out a bigger hole in the wall.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like people buy these buildings and think that it should just be passive income, that they don't have to do anything. And the thing is, just like your landlord discovered, being a landlord and being a building manager are different jobs. If you opt to do both jobs, that's on you, but you have to do them. If it were me, I would immediately just outsource to a management company so that I could just then passively collect the income. But it's like, if you don't want to do that, if you want all the income, there's overhead. You know what I mean? Things have to be repaired. Yeah. You know, like it's all that shit. And it's just like, I don't know why landlordism it makes people evil. Like the most evil people are attracted.
I mean,
to
it morally is like, yeah, because you're like, how can I take advantage of people and to do nothing? Also, like, you know, things that are a basic commodity for like you need to have to live. Yeah. What if people paid me for them having that?
Well, thank you for joining our anti-capitalist movie podcast. How are you? Have you been watching anything cool?
I've seen a lot of cool things lately. Some of them at the movie theater, no less. Like, this is how much, like, I'm not, it's like super stressed and overworked right now. Thank God. I got to see 2 movies lately. I think you at least saw one of them. They're both released by a little known thing called A24, which I know is very popular, especially on this podcast. And one of them I did the poster for. So I got to go see Julio Torres's debut film Problemista, which I worked on last year. It got delayed because of the strikes. He didn't want it out in theaters while the strikes were going on, and A24 didn't pull it. He pulled it. Respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I finally got to see it again in theaters, and seeing the final cut as compared to like the, you know, rough cut work print that I saw when I worked on it. Truly night and day. It's such an incredible film. I love it so much. It's such a unique and like thought through and owned feature debut that I haven't seen one this like self-assured in so long. He's incredible in it. RZA's incredible in it. Tilda Swinton steals the fucking show. Greta Lee has 1 or 2 scenes in it, and she's very, very good. And it's narrated by Isabella Rossellini. It is very, very incredible. He cited After Hours a lot, both in the promotion of the movie and while we were working on it as a big tonal point. And it's all over the movie. It's very much a like anxious dream world of living in New
Totally.
York.
Yeah.
And it reminded me so much of the years I spent living in Chicago, and I love it so much.
It made me think of my early 20s in New York in a sort of a triggering way because it was so difficult. I mean, the movie just takes like the gig economy and like immigration and gives it like a Kafka-esque nightmare polish. And it's very funny. I really liked it a lot. He is one of my celebrity crushes. I was a huge Los Spookies fan. I really cherish his POV. It's sort of like a queer Charlie Kaufman, but like silly cartoonish flourishes. I really loved the relationship with Tilda Swinton. I liked that it wasn't just a Devil Wears Prada kind of thing. Like he does have this monster boss, but he ends up really caring about her and vice versa. And I really appreciated that. I thought it was so great. It's so weird and quirky without being too twee. You know, like something like this could really easily go over the edge and be like too obnoxiously sweet.
Oh yeah,
but it never,
there's like
a
mid 2000s version of this directed by someone who would go on to only direct TV, probably, that like you could imagine is like entirely too twee and like insufferable. But this is like so thought through, so lived in, and so like he threaded the needle brilliantly. It's absolutely amazing. I hope he makes more movies. I really loved it.
I'm sure
one of my favorite things is of the opening when you like first see New York City. There's a great like subversion of filmmaking tropes that also like lets you know exactly what kind of movie this is going to be. Because when we like jump cut to now we are in New York City, most like movies are going to give you an establishing shot of New York City, of a big like aerial shot of the skyline, and maybe some narration of the main character and all this stuff. And that is not an idea, and it's kind of hacky, and it's very, very lame, and it's like paint by numbers filmmaking. And the first shot of New York City we get are framed photos of New York City skyline like that in the trash on the corner. With like a Barbie princess castle toy in the trash with them, and we just kind of like pan along past them up to him as if that's our establishing shot. It's so great. It's so funny. Every street corner in this movie is just covered in trash.
It's how New York feels.
Yeah. When I went to New York, I was like, there's no way it's going to be like that. And that's exactly how it was like. And I love New York. I love visiting New York. I could never live in New York. And this movie is exactly why.
I know. Whenever I go back now, I think like, how did I live here for 15 years? Like, I can't imagine. But same, I love it. It's just it's really difficult place to live, and it really drains you. And I wouldn't live there again. But I love this movie. I love Julio Torres. I think I just cherish him so much. Like, what a great point of view. What a great voice. I just adore the hell out of him. And he's easy on the ice. So there's that.
Yeah. I hope a lot of people go and see it in theaters. It's really magical. It's really funny. It's really heartwarming. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Yeah. The other one I got to see is the other new A24 movie that is also super gay and is gayer than Brablamista, which is only like, you know, kind of like subtly like nice and cozy gay. I got to see the mean gay movie. Rose Glass's latest feature for A24, Love, Lies, Bleeding, with Katie O'Brien, Ed Harris, and Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, Sean Harris, former guest Sean Harris, was just tweeting at us about this movie and how we had to go see it. I haven't seen it yet. I almost saw it last night, but I didn't get to go.
So we covered Rose Glass's first feature, Saint Maud, on this podcast. And if you go back and listen to that episode, or if you're familiar with that episode, I didn't like that movie, and I like was pretty like upfront about not liking that. I now am a Rose Glass stan. I think she has really, really pulled an incredible film off in Love, Lies, Bleeding. All of the things that I disliked about Saint Maud are thrown in the trash, and there is an entirely different filmmaking style going on in Love, Lies, Bleeding. But all of the things that I liked about Saint Maud, all the music choices, all the character choices, are all here, and they are like the meat and muscle of this movie. The soundtrack is incredible. The original score is incredible. The performances by Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien are incredible. Ed Harris, as fucking always, is insanely amazing.
As always.
It is so gory. It is so horny. It is so fucked up. It is so relatable and fun. It feels like taking Bound, Shallow Grave, and like, I don't know, like Valley Girl and shoving them in a blender in a good way.
Oh my god, that
it's
sounds
really,
so good.
really, really, really fun. I cannot recommend it highly enough. It is just like very gory, very romantic, very sleazy crime noir film of like the highest caliber. I cannot say enough good stuff about it. And if you're a fan of Bound, you need to go see Love Lies Bleeding. Or if you saw Love Lies Bleeding over the weekend and you loved it, you need to go rewatch Bound. Like, it's one of Kristen Stewart's best performances
of
her entire career. She's
good.
Amazing. I love her in Personal Shopper. I thought her performance in Crimes of the Future was maybe one of her best performances of all time. There's a great scene, the Katie O'Brien, who is the love interest of her character in this film, is a bodybuilder, and there's a lot of scenes of them living together and hanging out while Katie O'Brien is like working on herself and like doing pull-ups and stuff like that. And to motivate her doing pull-ups, Kristen Stewart slides underneath her with a lighter and like starts like trying to like burn her toes. And when she like drops down, Kristen Stewart just grabs her foot and puts it in her mouth.
Oh my god.
It's amazing. So great. It's so horny. It's so weird. There's so much blood and puke and gore. It's really amazing. I saw an interview with Rose Glass talking about how she recommended Crash to Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien to watch beforehand to capture a like tone of like horniness and weirdness across the cast members throughout the whole movie. It's super, super, super fun. It takes some really bold, wide swings and sticks them every single time. It's genuinely very surprising and very original, and I loved it.
I love that. First of all, I love that we gotta have they seen it in early, which we now know that Kristen Stewart has seen Crash by David Cronenberg, which only makes sense. Second of all, to our credit, I think we both did say on that Saint Maud episode that, you know, neither of us were super into that movie, but both of us were like, I think that there's something special about this director, and I'm excited to see a second movie. So there is that.
Yeah. I think Rose Glass really, really pulled one off here, and I can't wait to see what she does next. This is going to be like a very important cult film for a long time.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you seen anything great other than Problemista?
Yeah. Do you know what? I've never really spent much time on Tubi for some reason. I guess because of the ads. Like I've only watched things on Tubi if I like had to. If that's the only place to watch it. That's
people really seem to love Tubi. Like
I'm starting
horror
to get
Twitter
it.
seems to love it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to get it because I've been spending more time on there, and there's just like really weird, obscure things. I mean, and just tons of them. So I watched this cool movie from the 60s that, based on Letterboxd reviews, I don't think this is a movie for everyone, but it's definitely a movie for me. It's a movie from 1966, directed by Sidney Lumet, called The Group.
Oh yeah.
I really liked it a lot. It's sort of like Girlfriends or Frances Ha, but it's made in the 60s and it's a period piece, if I remember right, about World War II and the years after. So it's a big group of girls in the, I think they graduate in the 20s or 30s. From a prestigious, girls' college, and they're all rich girls. And it's about the years immediately after their graduation and what happens to each of them and how they stay in touch or don't. And it's very moving. The editing is super fast. It's sort of like the editing in Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. So you have to really pay attention because this is an adaptation of a very popular in the 1960s novel. It was like huge, like Peyton Place or something like that. And so this director bravely just put the whole giant book in this movie by just moving incredibly fast, and you just have to keep up. and there are 6 girls to follow. So it takes a while, but you're like, who's this? Who's that? But some of them are. Candice Bergen is in it as a hot lesbian. Young Jessica Walter from Arrested Development is so good in it. But to me, it felt like genuinely moving and funny and sad. And it's kind of like a melodrama, like Valley of the Dolls or a Douglas Sirk movie. It's kind of giving that, but it's all set in New York City in the years following the war. And it's just, I really loved it. And I never would have watched it because I had never heard of it until it showed up on the front page of Tubi, and I just happened to be on Tubi. So big shout out for Tubi. Love them.
Yeah.
now.
I've been meaning to see the group for a while. My friend Izzy recommended to me a few years ago. She runs a really popular YouTube channel called Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah.
I really want to watch it. I think Kino did it on Blu-ray recently.
Did they?
I need to pick it up. It might be out of print. I don't know. I really want to watch it.
I had no idea how beautiful Candice Bergen was.
Candice Bergen is amazing.
Because I know her as an older woman. Like, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, so I think Murphy Brown. I think of her on Sex and the City, and she's a beautiful older woman. But I kind of knew in the back of my head that she had been a model in her youth. But she is shockingly beautiful in this.
Have you seen Carnal Knowledge, the movie that she
did?
No,
I never have.
With,
that's the thing.
Jack Nicholson and Anne Margaret.
I know all about it. I just never seen it.
So good. Carnal Knowledge is great. You would really, really, especially as a former playwright, current playwright, as a playwright, as a writer.
I'm currently writing a playwright. Yeah.
As a writer, you would love Carnal Knowledge. It's very, very, very good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend. Yeah, Candice Bergen is great.
She's great. I mean, I knew she was a great actor. I just didn't know that. She's like Delphine Seyrig in Daughters of Darkness levels of beautiful. I was like, holy shit, what a stunner. Jesus Christ, what a beautiful woman.
Oh my God, she turned you straight. What happened?
She did.
We're going to have to end the podcast. I think it's over.
Bye.
Now we don't have representation anymore. Oh God.
Well, listen, let's get into it. Today, we are here to talk about a movie from 1970, directed by Robert Fust, and Soon the Darkness.
Take 3 young people. Take 3 exciting young people. Take Pamela Franklin in her first starring role. Take dynamic Shandor Ellis. Take newcomer Michelle Dautrice. Take France under a hot, bright sun. Come out, damn you!
Now, I love that music. So,
best music ever.
We have talked about this movie before briefly on the podcast because I happened to watch it maybe last year or the year before, and it was one of our preamble things that I talked about. I just randomly watched it on Shudder one night and really enjoyed it. And so now we're doing an episode on it. This is your first time watching it, I think, right?
Yeah, this was my first time. It was one that when you had recommended it and watched it a year or so ago, it immediately went on my list and I added it to my Shudder queue. And I was like, Joshua liked it that much. And it's from the director of Abominable Dr. Phibes,
yeah,
I'm gonna want to watch this. And then I put it off. I never got around to it. And so when you chose it for this, I got very excited. And I watched it one morning a few weeks ago with Ivory to kick the day off because I was like, I need to do this. And seems like maybe it'd be one that you would like. So you can sit in with me for the beginning. If you're not digging it, you can go walk away and go do anything else. And she and I were both glued to the screen the entire
I saw her
movie.
Review of it. But I didn't see your review, so I didn't know if you would like this or not. So I'm glad that you did.
I really, really love this movie.
Good.
It's so fucking good. It's so fucking incredible. and it does so many things. I mean, it was released in 1970, but it was made, I think, in 1969. It does so many things stylistically, with the genre, with the pacing, and with the tension that would be major hallmarks of the 1970s and movies like Black Christmas and Jaws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Duel, and that none of that stuff had been done yet. Like, for the most part, a lot of these ideas and a lot of this kind of stripped down version of a thriller were very, very new. And they play like gangbusters today. I can only imagine how incredible this movie would have been in 1970. I loved every minute of it. I thought this movie was just truly amazing.
Oh, good. Well, this was made by largely television people who worked on the British series The Avengers. And so this was like kind of a side project, if you could call it that. And they wrote the script in like 2 days or 2 weeks or something. So it's a very simple story.
Yeah.
And basically, the story follows Jane and Kathy, who are 2 young nurses from Nottingham in England, and they are taking a bike holiday through rural France. And Kathy is the blonde one, and she is a good time girl, and she's not having a very fun time because she feels like they're doing sort of studious, like, sightseeing things, and I think she like wants to party more and meet men, but Jane is the more cautious brunette one, so you have that classic dynamic at play. And when we meet them, they are having coffee in a cafe, and Kathy spots a handsome and mysterious stranger who seems to be following them, and they stop at in a small village and rest their bikes and start to suntan themselves, and they get into a little fight. So Jane is going to go off on her own, and she only gets a little ways before she feels like, oh, this is a mistake. I shouldn't just leave her. And she goes back, and Kathy is missing. And the rest of the movie is trying to figure out what happened to Kathy. So it's a little bit like a teeny bopper version of The Vanishing or something.
A little bit, yeah.
Anything you want to amend or add to that?
I love that this movie all takes place in like one afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also like they're biking through rural France. Neither of them speaks much French whatsoever.
Yes.
And when I say biking, I mean bicycling. They don't have backpacks or even purses with them. They just have like saddlebags on their little bicycles. And they're like early 20s, late teens. They've got like a little like radio with them on one of their bikes, listening to music. But like, and they're talking about like making really good time to get to the coast and like biking so far. They've been going for a few days already, just bicycling through these towns. Like, and so the movie starts out with like the pop music they're listening to, and they're talking about how London is swinging right then, because it's still like the late 60s, and like she wants to find that adventure out in Paris, and like, the French Riviera or wherever they're going to. And you get like the fun kind of like, young exuberance of like, isn't it fun to be like out and about and we can adventure and the world is ours?
Not a care in the world.
Very, very, very quickly does your brain start to be like, you are out there alone with just a bicycle. If anything happens, you are so fucked.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere. Like,
it kind of reminds me of all of those really great early scenes in Halloween 1978 when the girls are just like walking around talking about boys in school, and you just have this feeling of dread because but they don't, that something terrible is about to befall them. It kind of feels like that to me.
At least in Halloween, it's like they're in their neighborhood, and like they know the cops, and they like know all this. They can at least like, even if it's like strangers, they can like speak to them. These girls are isolated, like they barely speak French. At one part, Pamela Franklin, who is Jane, who is more or less our lead actress, she was one of the children in The Innocents, and she was also the psychic in The Legend of Hell House. Two of the best UK
Great
horror
performances.
films
Absolutely.
of all time. She, after they separate, she goes to a little cafe, and the like woman who runs the place keeps speaking to her in French, and she's like, I don't know what you're saying, and you're like, she's saying mauvaise, she's saying bad, like, I don't know, like, I took a couple years of French in high school, and it not much sunk in, but I at least had enough while watching this movie, because all the French that everyone speaks isn't translated, because these girls don't speak French. It's such a really good way of building tension that, like, if you don't speak French, then you are, like, in the same shoes as the girls. But if you do have even a little understanding of even Spanish to translate to French, you can very quickly be like, oh, she's saying bad road. She's saying the police are trouble.
Road.
Like,
you should not be alone. Yeah, there's a great scene following that scene. I'm the same as you. I took high school French, but do not speak French. But
I was able to keep up with the people, at least. Thankfully.
I was too, to a certain degree, more than these girls, which is like, I don't think you should go to France if you speak less French than me. Like, Jesus Christ. But anyways, this girl goes back to that same cafe, and she's like, I want to go see the gendarme, who's basically like the sheriff, and tell him what's going on. And the woman is saying, I could understand, but Jane couldn't. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, the gendarme is the bad person. Like, warning her. So if you speak any French at all, spoiler alert, you know who the killer is, like, halfway through the movie. But if you don't speak French, then you don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like an interesting experience.
It's really well, and the first time that it started, that started to happen, she's at a like more populated cafe in a slightly more populated part of town earlier on into the movie, when someone is helping her look for her friend Kathy and kind of translate. And the like guy who runs that more popular cafe is asked in French if he's seen Kathy, and he responds like, oh, she's missing, she's probably dead, it's happened before. And then the guy who's translating comes back to her, and he's like, oh, she didn't see her. And I'm like, he literally just said people have died around here a lot lately.
Yeah, so
that's important information.
It doesn't take long before Jane meets up with the handsome man that they saw in the first scene, and they're kind of a pair for a lot of this movie. And we learn that he is, I can't remember what the term is, but he belongs to a police force in France that is kind of like the feds, like, not local jurisdiction, but like federal, big feds, CIA kind of force.
Or so he claims.
And he's been interested in this case as a hobby for a couple of years, which is a red flag to me. But he's very hot, and he's in a great suit. So
he's got those sunglasses.
Yeah, they go, and he's on a moped too, which is very sexy. And they start investigating this together before she starts to suspect him, for very good reasons, to her credit.
Because he's also being suspicious, because he is actively lying to her in a lot of scenes. He's also like trying to muddy the waters and either steal or destroy evidence in some instances. And there's a lot of suspicious things that he is doing. One of my things I love about this movie is it starts so wide open and so hopeful and adventurous, and it very quickly locks you down to this one stretch of road and like tent poles of like, here's the furthest stretch of town she gets to. Here's the back stretch of town that's now further away, but it's a bit more populated. This is where a cemetery is. This is where a field is, where a guy is working. This is the point where she last saw Kathy. This is where there's this tiny little cafe. This is where the gendarme's house is. Like, there's all these little points, and there's this set of characters that she keeps running into that live and work around there that like start to build your kind of Agatha Christie like list of suspects. And all of them interact with her in ways that are like,
that are so sus.
offering help and assistance, while also being very, very suspicious. There's one other English-speaking person in this entire place who's a middle-aged school teacher who teaches French at a school nearby, and who's lived there for some years. And she remembers the murder happening, and she tells her a little bit more about it and gives her a little ride in her car. But also it kind of implies that she hasn't been in England for some years because it's rather distasteful for her there, and like kind of hits on Jane a little bit herself and offers for her to stay at her house. And there's a bit of like a predatory lesbian vibe, but like it's still kind of cute and not uncomfortable. And so there's enough like suspicion that you're like, she could be killing people, and it's there's enough going on that like the like old woman who runs the kind of rundown cafe, her husband is this kind of big hulking guy who rides a tiny little bike, which is very funny visually, but he's very scary and is
violent temper.
Very violent with his wife, but also very mute around Jane. And you kind of begin to figure out that he was the one that was previously suspected of the previous murders. So we're wary of him. It's really, really, really good how well they build and draw out the tension, because there's like, when the last we see of Kathy, she's alone, but we see like little bits of enough like clues towards the killer's identity. We see bike tracks, like single tire tracks. We see like her camera's left behind. So if we can recover, if Jane and the man on the motorcycle can recover the camera and the film, maybe there's a photo of the murderer. And all of it starts to lead towards clues, and all of them kind of get like spoiled or like lost along the way. And it kind of turns into like an almost like Straw Dogs thriller near the end.
Yeah. She eventually makes it to the gendarme's house, who, if you speak French, you at least know is bad based on the cafe owner. Her testimony. But then she gets there and he lives with his father, who is like deaf and maybe a bit senile, daffy.
He's a veteran.
The scariest moment to me is when Jane has found Kathy's underwear in the woods where she lost a pair of her panties. And it's there with her in the gendarme's house, and the old man puts it on his head and starts laughing. And that moment to me was so creepy for some reason. I was just like, oh, you're in danger here. It felt like, it reminded me of the scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre when she gets into the pickup truck and she's like, oh, finally I'm safe.
Massacre.
Yeah, like finally I'm safe. But of course the truck driver is part of the family, et cetera, et cetera. It felt like that, like, oh no, get away from here. Even though that's not the case here, actually. But
what I was thinking through a lot of this movie was like, I cannot believe that they made a French hillbilly horror movie.
That's what it is.
It is, very much so.
Yeah.
But I think the added language barrier adds a lot of tension. Like, it does. Really, really, really good. I
love when foreign languages are not translated in movies, by the way.
Me too.
Like, I know that you didn't particularly like this movie, but I loved that in the movie Watcher, where, like an American moves to...
I thought that was a great aspect of that movie.
Yeah, an American moved to Budapest, and everyone else is speaking, I don't know, Romanian or whatever, and she doesn't speak it. So it's like they don't bother to translating what everyone around her is saying at all times. Just works really well in some movies.
Yeah. God, this movie was so fucking good, and it was so deeply scary. And the way that they brought back the kind of upbeat pop song that I was humming at the beginning of this episode later into the movie adds a lot of tension to it too, and it like starts to like recontextualize that song. The cinematography is so fucking good.
I mean, that's an important part of this movie. They're in the French countryside, so it's very beautiful. They are just riding their bicycles through farmland in France, and I would love to go on that trip. I mean, Kathy, to me, seems like a real annoying bummer, because I would be Jane. I'd be like, let's enjoy this. Let's stop in cafes.
You'd be Kathy, you mean, then?
No, I'd be Jane. I would love it. I mean, I would be into the trip. I wouldn't be complaining about it. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go like party. I would be into bicycling across the countryside and like stopping in quaint villages.
Yeah, Jane has a very like regimented schedule.
Yeah.
I love her for that. The fight that they have, like, I honestly, I would leave her behind too. Like,
totally. She's so annoying.
literally, not long after Kathy is dispatched, Ivory kind of leaned over to me and was like, oh, I'm so glad that this is the girl that is continuing and not the other one, because oh my
Team
God.
Jane,
And I
for
was like,
sure.
yeah.
Team Jane.
Well, Team Jane.
Also,
I
Kathy.
mean, Pamela Franklin's amazing.
Yes, I mean, an amazing actor. Love her in Hell House. She's the hipster-looking psychic, if anyone has seen that movie, the one who looks like Karen O from the Yeah Yeahs.
Mm-hmm.
But Kathy, we should mention for all of our folk horror fans, is the girl from Blood on Satan's Claw.
Michelle Doutrice. So, yeah, and the Hammer horror movie The Witches too, with Joan Fontaine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. She's like has been more successful, I think, older in age, on British television and in movies and stuff like that. But yeah, she's like got a good little trilogy of British folk horror and thrillers under her belt. Like,
yeah. Pamela Franklin stopped acting, decades ago, because she moved to the US, to Los Angeles, and started doing television, which she's later said was a mistake because, in those days, television was really looked down upon. And so you kind of couldn't do both things. And she became, a mom. And so it all kind of like faded away. Although her husband, who was also an actor, and their son, who's now grown, like older than me, they own a really big bookstore in Los Angeles called Mystery Pier Books, which is like kind of legendary. Yeah. So her family owns that bookstore.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So they're, they seem to have a nice life here in Los Angeles, but yeah, I love her so much. And she's great in this.
She's really, really amazing in a non-genre movie from around the same time, directed by Ronald Neame, called The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie with Maggie Smith, which is like...
I love that movie.
Fucking incredible. Yeah. She's a really, really, really talented actress, and you need someone like that to hang this movie on. You need a really tight script. You need a really, the movie does such a great job of establishing its setting and its location and its boundaries and its world. You know exactly where everything is. Whenever a character turns in one direction, you know where they're heading. You know what lays in front of them. But then you also have to hang it on a very, very, very good cast. And she
really carries it.
Absolutely carries this whole movie on her back. And she's so fucking good.
Yeah. So in the lead up to this, a listener did DM me and ask me which version we were watching. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch it on Shudder, because I thought that they meant like, what cut are you watching? Because, a lot of the movies we cover have there's a remake from 2010, which I had no idea until this listener told me. I have no recollection of it whatsoever. But the letterbox reviews are pretty scathing. So I think it's not worth watching.
While watching it, I was kind of thinking, this is such a good, tight, simple thriller. This is really, really, really good. It would be very, easy to update it and remake it in a good way. And then while I was watching it, I saw that there was a remake of it from a few years ago with the guy from The Boys in it. But it's Americans going down to Argentina
South
for holiday.
America,
so yeah. And I was like, no. As soon as I saw the poster art, I was like, I know exactly what movie this is. This looks terrible.
Apparently they made it really violent too. It's sort of that era, the end of that era of the 2000s, where it's kind of giving Hostel vibes.
I was going to say Hostel is another one of two English speaking individuals who go on holiday in a country where they don't speak the language and then get into a lot of trouble, and one of them quote unquote survives. So I can kind of see from a post Hostel lens, let's absolutely remake this and we can make it into that. But that's missing the gold that is this movie. You see very little. You see nothing this whole movie. There's no gore.
Yeah.
You see one thing at the end of the film.
Which, yes, we do find out what happened to Kathy. And to me, it was a very shocking, very frightening moment.
Yes. Because you're not expecting it even in the lead, and even a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't want to give away the ending, I guess. I guess we sort of already did. But the ending is really effective. I think the final shot is really haunting and beautiful, especially, that we've had this sunny day. It's all been in bright sunshine and then it starts to rain.
I love how really midway through the movie, someone is like, it's going to rain soon.
And then, it's that demented old man. So you're like, you're just talking nonsense.
Yeah. But also, again, she's all alone. She has nowhere to stay. She doesn't have her money because it's in her bicycle. And like whenever she goes with the guy on the motorcycle, she has to leave her bicycle behind. So she's frequently without her possessions.
Yeah.
The little that she has no way of getting cover. She has an offer of a bed to stay in with the lesbian school teacher, but she's never going to take her up on that.
Yeah.
And so if she still can't find Kathy and it rains, she's fucked.
Yeah.
But I also like when the rains finally come and it's kind of like a Judeo-Christian, like washing away of the sins kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. I also want to point out the two writers of this movie, Terry Nation and Brian Clemens. Terry Nation wrote a lot of the Doctor Who at that era and was a big TV writer. Brian Clemens, on the other hand, had a longer career in writing feature films, writing a few for Hammer, including Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, but also writing a very, very important movie for me, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which we've covered on this podcast before, and which I have lifted my entire design name from. Yeah. Which is also a really well-paced, female-fronted thriller.
It really is. It really is. Well, I'm so glad that you liked this movie. I wasn't sure that you would, but I hoped that you would.
I really, really loved it. And it was the kind of movie that, like, after having watched it, I cannot wait to see it a second time. And I'm, like, actively looking into whether or not I should buy
it. I think you should buy it. Let's move on to our favorite game, Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. This movie is British. And nothing is more British than the royal family. Princess Kate is currently missing. No one knows where she is.
If you have any information as to the whereabouts of Princess Kate, please contact us at bloodhouse@bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Not the authorities, just us.
Just us. We'll pass it on to the appropriate parties.
Yeah.
I recently watched The Crown on Netflix, like a lot of people did. And my favorite person in the royal family, of course, is Princess Margaret, which is Queen Elizabeth's rowdy, raucous, slutty sister, who's a bit like Kathy. So do you think that Princess Margaret ever saw this?
I do not. I know very, very, very little about the royal family, other than their penchant for disappearances and surprising deaths. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say she hasn't. I feel like, this movie was produced by EMI, but it wasn't even put out by EMI. It was put out by like a sub label of EMI.
It didn't do very well either.
Yeah, so I can't imagine that it did, which is disappointing because this movie's very, very good.
It strikes me as a movie that's reputation has gotten better over the years.
Yeah. I'm going to say no, she has not seen it. What about you?
I think she has. I think she saw it on television on like a Sunday afternoon. Sort of like the way that I saw Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I was okay.
I will also say, like, from my job and like a marketing perspective on this movie, like not a lot of great posters for it, but specifically in England, the like quad, like the posters in England are always called quads and they're wide instead of like tall, like American ones are. It's just the guy. It's just the guy who rides the motorcycle in sunglasses. It's like a close up on him with the sunglasses and then like a kind of like painterly hot sun sky behind him, just like bright orange. And then a reflection in his sunglasses is like Kathy's dead body in purple. It's really weird, but and soon the darkness, and it's just like a guy's face wearing sunglasses. It's like it's like real second read to even see Kathy in the sunglasses. So Pamela Franklin's not even on the poster. Not how I would have done it. The US poster at least like has the bike tire in the foreground and then the girl in the bushes, which is like compelling.
Speaking of marketing, what do you think of this title for this movie? I'm not sure about it.
I think it's a really good title for a horror film and for a thriller. For this movie, it's odd.
It's odd, right?
I get like metaphorically a title about British countryside, beautiful vacation, sunny day, and soon the darkness takes away the innocence and the youth and all of that stuff, which, is thematic and correct. But like it's a funky title. But I love titles that start with like an ellipses or and, like that feels like only part of a thought, because it's interesting, it's compelling to me. It makes me want to know
what else I would name. It's like Blood on the Bicycle.
Yeah, you kind of expect this to have been retitled for America and be called like
Blood on the Back Tire. Something like, I don't know.
Or like Backpack Girls. Like or like Rue Danger or something like that. Like
right. Yeah. Who do you got for me?
So on the original US poster, to sell it to US audiences, and this was like super popular in the 70s, especially with like European import thrillers, because they were popular and they were at least getting attention, and it was smaller companies that were selling them out here, so they were trying really hard to get butts in seats. If you recall, Argento's Deep Red has like half the fucking, or at least a third of the original poster is like, do you remember Jaws? Do you remember Psycho? Well, here's Deep Red. Like a lot of that going on at the time. And the tagline for And Soon the Darkness was, remember the way Hitchcock kept you on the edge of your seat? And then like ellipses and then a question mark. So this movie was released in 1970. At that time, Alfred Hitchcock was like heading back to England to make movies there again, and made some of his final films, and they're pretty good. Frenzy's pretty freaking incredible, and it was made a little bit after this, and it's a lot sleazier and more in fitting with kind of the stuff that he wanted to do. So do you think Sir Alfred Hitchcock ever saw And Soon the Darkness?
First of all, those ads are so insulting when someone is still alive and fine, and living in the world. Second of all, my gut says yes. I think he would have seen this. I don't think he would seek it out, but I think that he would just kind of come across it. I don't think he would like it. I feel like he would be trying to avoid these. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like, I know that he watched like the Henri-Georges Clouzot thrillers in the 40s and 50s. I know, like, we know for a fact that he watched Diabolique, and then he watched Wages of Fear, and he watched stuff like that. Being a like television production crew, like EMI release at the time, it might have appeared a little sleazy for him, but he also had sleazy tastes. I feel like it's possible. I have no evidence whether he did or not, but I feel like if he did see it, I think he would like it.
Yeah, I think I can see, because
it's not trying to like ape him in the way that De Palma's like actively aping him.
Yeah, that's like a marketing thing.
Yeah, but I feel like if he was in England and didn't see that tagline, because that was just a US tagline, and he saw this movie, I think he would get a kick out of it. I think it would have all the tension that he would enjoy.
There's something interesting about this movie, because the movie is legitimately good, I believe, and very strong. But all of the elements, if you are somebody in 1970 who's just like living in the world, all of the elements are a little bit lowbrow. And so it's kind of surprising that it turns out to be this good and so sophisticated, because it's like TV people, which in 1970 is pretty, kind of lowbrow. And, like, I don't know, just there's something about it that is like, might seem a little bit sordid, not to Alfred Hitchcock, because he traffics in this kind of stuff, but just as a general audience member.
Yeah, I could see how at this time it would be perceived, especially like just knowing a little bit of the elements of it, that it would be like sleazy and lowest common denominator. of a movie, but it's absolutely not. The 2010 remake is what
Maybe
that
that's
is.
something else.
The one with like Amber Heard on the poster wearing a bikini.
It would be like if a movie came out and it was all like young actors from CW shows or something, and you're like, oh, I know what this is, and then you went and it was like a really sophisticated A24 movie. Do you know what I mean? It's like that.
I mean, May December to a degree.
Well, yeah, Reggie from Riverdale got nominated for a bunch of awards and should have won,
and not an Oscar.
Not an Oscar,
which is a crime. But I mean, Lisa Frankenstein is kind of going through that right now. Like, both of the leads are like CW alum. He was on Riverdale. She was on Supernatural.
Yeah,
it's like that Avril Lavigne song. And that movie is delightful and very, very, very good. And it's, unfortunately not getting its flowers.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
Well, you said earlier that this movie sort of was predictive of the kind of movies that would come in the 70s. Those kinds of movies came again in the 2010s, which we've talked about, this sort of slow burn art house horror that was so popular for such a long time. It's now, I think, kind of passing. But I wondered if you thought Robert Eggers, director of The Witch in the Lighthouse, has seen this.
Oh, I was just thinking about Robert Eggers today because I just got a copy of The Witch from Second Sight Films in the UK, and it comes with one of his short films, and I'm really excited to watch a Robert Eggers short film.
So interested in that, yeah.
Right? I don't think he's seen it. It doesn't seem like one he would watch. Because even like it's not like a major Euro horror title. It doesn't have a reputation as being like one thing or another, which is a shame because again, it's very, very good. So I don't think he's seen it. It would surprise me if he had, but again, I think he would like it quite a lot.
Yeah, I think he would too.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he's seen it.
Yeah, no, me neither. As we mentioned, the main kind of crux of this movie or a setup is them bicycling through the French countryside. And that just seems so quaint to me. And so like naive, the idea of being able to like just take a bicycle trip, just take a bicycle tour. And it also makes me think of a wonderful song by the band Queen. Who sung about bicycles quite frequently.
Yeah.
Do you think that Freddie Mercury took time out of his busy schedule to go watch Ensued the Darkness?
I'm embarrassed to have to ask this question. I did not see the movie about Queen, and it's been a long time since I've seen. I would never watch a movie like that in a million years. But the more important thing is, I can't remember if he is British or American or something else.
He's British.
He's British. In that case, I think
of like Egyptian or North African descent. But yeah,
yes. I think, yes, he's seen this.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would like it or not. I don't know his taste in movies.
I feel like he would have liked it, but I could also see, I don't think he would like hate it or have been offended by it, but I could see a world in which it was too scary for him.
Ooh, yeah.
In which it was like, it made him uncomfortable and he was like, I'm not having a fun time.
Yeah.
I could see that, but I could also see him enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think it's a lovely, lovely film. And
great
Freddie, wherever you are in this world, we miss you, we love you. And Pamela Franklin in Soon the Darkness loves you even more.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bloodhaus. Please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Drusilla, where can people follow you?
You can find me and my work over at sisterhidedesign.com. Lots of new posters out there for a lot of new stuff, along with the new Bound artwork is up. Some stuff is for sale on my website, which is amazing and cool and lovely, and you should maybe buy it. You can also follow me on Letterboxd. If you look for Sister Hyde or Drusilla Adeline, you'll be able to find me there and find all the weird stuff I've been watching. And you can also follow me on Instagram if you look for @HydeSister, which is just an inversion. What about you, Josh? How can people follow you through the countryside?
I'm at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Letterboxd, and Instagram. So next week we're getting even more arty-farty, so highbrow. We're going to the ballet. And what are we watching?
Bloodhaus goes ballet with maybe the most art house of horror films. And also, unfortunately, we have not covered one of the genre's greatest monsters enough on this show. We will be finally watching an actual Dracula. We've covered Nosferatu, but we've never actually done an actual Dracula.
That's wild.
Which is wild to me. So, of course, we would start with him in the mode of dance. And from Canada's greatest filmmaker, from Guy Maddin in 2002, we will be watching the beautiful, the strange Dracula, Pages from a Virgin's Diary.
I can't wait. I'm going to go stretch in preparation. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.